I'm a CEO of Get Money Kicks.
All right. And right now I'm here today. I'm trying to interview for basically for the black people, for the colored folks out here. A couple questions I wanted to ask you was first thing, what made you got into doing this event for today?
Well, just to let you know, we've been vendors. Like me and my partner, we've been a vendor ever since about 2007, and we decided to go on the show side, basically, to give other, vendors and designers and people with clothing lines a platform who normally wouldn't have a platform to display their stuff. Because sometimes you see all the other people who got money, what I'm trying to say, it's easy for them to get people, to display at their place. What we do, is trying to get people who don't have that platform, to showcase their stuff, their sneakers, their clothing line, their accessories, no matter what it is. That's what inspired us.
All right. For the ghetto youth that's out here, another question I want to put out: is it possible for people for colored folks like us to be able to achieve certain things like this, make events like this?
Well, I think it's all achievable. You just got to put your mind to it. For the most part, these kids are in the game anyway, so they're already buying these sneakers. And to be honest with you, it's for the most part a lot of the poor people who are spending the money on these shoes. So all they would need to do is hold on to them and invest. Not everything is just wear and beat them up. Sometimes you just need to hold on to them because there is a profit there. There is some value in what we're doing. And there is value in the shoes that a lot of the poor people like us, just run them down instead of just holding on to them, sell them, make a profit like how the other people are doing. You know what I mean? So it's as far as trying to inspire them, that's why I would let them know. Don't always trash your stuff, beat up yourself. Try to keep it clean, bring it to these shows and flip it and make money. So that's what we do, or what we've done already, and this is where we came with it.
Indeed. Another thing I was looking and informed when I was out here was the performance. I see that you had the two artists out here. I wonder.
When it came to that, that's basically the same thing. A lot of these artists out here, who may not have studio time or whatever, they just raw and they want to get in front of crowds. I'm doing the same thing with them too. They may not have an outlet or a platform to show their art. So what I do is I'll book them at a show like this, and now there's people seeing them, and then we're about to put it on Instagram. Somebody may give that guy a call, and I'm like, hey, listen, I like what you do, blah, blah, blah. Next it's off to the races for that person. And we were the start for him. You know what I mean? So that's why you see people may come up to me telling me, thank you for giving me a shot. Thank you for basically, how you say, giving me a start to do what I'm doing. That's basically what I'm saying. Mm-hmm.
All right. Question for the college students, for the ones that want to be business entrepreneurs and whatnot. What type of tips or things that you could tell to people to achieve?
Invest your money. You know what I mean? Everything is not about spending money. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might want to just invest your money and see what's going on around you. You know what I mean? And whatever you see around you may want to get into it. You know what I mean? The sneaker game for us, we just decided to take our sneakers of what we already had, worn, used, or whatever, and just take it and make some money with it. And being that there's a market for it, we was able to exploit it. That's all.
All right. Indeed. A real question I want to ask you upon is for going out for our colored people and our colored folks.
Understood.
What are your thoughts about the events that's happening for us today? The police brutality, all the social racism and what forth and things like that. What are your thoughts? What is your expectations upon that? What's your solutions, goals, or anything that you?
Well, I think as far as with that's concerned, right, I think there's two sides to everything. You know what I mean? I feel when it comes to the police doing police brutality or shooting these kids and things of that nature, I think that's wrong, and I think that they're just looking for ways to eliminate us and take us out. On the other hand, sometimes if we weren't in those positions of people like us, on our side, maybe those things wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that we're not targeted, but sometimes you just want to lower, being around or caught up in stuff like that to the point where they can't even do that to you. You know what I mean? Sometimes things catch up with you because you're involved in certain things. That doesn't give people the excuse to go and try to target us or kill us or trying to eliminate us. But at the same time, I think a lot of it will probably be preventable if we weren't around certain things. You know what I mean? So
Real talk, real talk. Last question I want to ask. Actually, two more questions. The first to last question I want to ask is when is your next event that's gonna happen?
Well, right now, as a team, we're about to evaluate, you know, I'm trying to say what we've done. Was it profitable? You know what I mean? If it was profitable, we'll sit down, save some of that money and put it into the next venue. And we already have somewhat of a following, you know what I mean? So the next, people are already asking us, when's our next event? So we're already out there. We were out there before because we was basically selling sneakers and giving good deals. So people know us, they see the sign, and they're like, oh, that's Good Money Kicks. I'm already standing behind them. You know what I mean? And you can see they came out and showed love. You know? It was a decent show for my first show. It's going to get better. We were up against the today. Today is the opening football, so that's why a lot of people weren't here. But outside of that, we would have did better than that, you know?
Indeed.
No problem, man.
Indeed. And last question I want to ask is, regarding to the color folks and whatnot, what do you have for them, for the ones, that's sitting out there that, probably thinking like, yo, I really can't do this, all the situations going on, racism going on.
Nah, let me tell you what it is. Like, anybody could do anything, you know what I mean? I'm a little older, so it may have been a little bit easier for me because, I may have been a little somewhat established, but my being established had nothing to do with this. This was me liking sneakers, having sneakers, collecting sneakers, and seeing that there's a market for it. And when it comes to people out there, that's out there, that want to do something like this, they're already doing it. They just don't know it. They're selling their sneakers. They may not be doing it on a big platform like this, but they're already doing it. They're doing it in the hood. They're doing it on Instagram. They're doing it. You know what I mean? What they need to do is just try to take it to the next level. You know what I mean? Once they make, let's say they buy a shoe for about $120 and they make $200, that's $80 profit. Don't spend it. Buy 2 pairs of shoes now, and now sell those shoes. You know what I mean? And then once you get that next profit, sell those shoes. It's hard with some of our youth when they got money in their pocket. It's like burning a hole in their pocket. So they want to spend it. They want to do this, want to do it. Next thing you know, they're not doing anything. You know what I mean? But they got to be disciplined. I say disciplined with anything, and have the foresight to see that there's a market for everything. You know what I mean? So.
Indeed. All right. Well, once again, thank you, Mr.
No
CEO.
problem, man. No
thank
problem.
you for everything.
My name's Omar, man. Take it easy, man. All right, man. Yo, be easy. Y'all drive safe, man.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Hold your emotion. You already know how we go. So let's get it. And we out.